Good morning.
Good morning, Randall.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Randall, you have a quorum. Good morning, sir. Good morning,
Good
Steve.
morning. All right, everyone. Good morning.
Good
Thank you, and welcome to the executive committee meeting this morning. Taking a look at the agenda, I need to get approval of the meeting, the minutes for the meeting on July 14th. So if y'all have had time to review those, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve those. If you need a minute, I can give you that. Do I have a motion to approve the executive committee meeting summary for the meeting on July 14th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes dated July 14, 2020 for the executive committee's summary meeting.
Thank you.
I
Thank
second
you.
that motion.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Mike. It's Stephen's motion and Mike seconds. Do I have any abstentions to this motion? Hearing none, do I have any objections to this motion? Hearing none, the motion has carried. The agenda has set for us to discuss the investigations and accusations and the letters we sent. And I understand that, and we will get to that. But I think in light of recent events, consideration of personnel matters should be the first thing we discuss this morning. It's now the most vital. So I'm going to entertain that first today. So as you all are by now aware, Sean has announced his resignation, which will be effective on August the 7th, I believe, which is next Friday. So that is a major event, of course, and we need to discuss matters related to it. So that's what I'm putting before us now on the floor. So Sean, would you like to speak?
Sure. Thank you, Randall, and thank you, Executive Committee. I want to thank the council, and the entire DD community for allowing me to serve. I feel like I've had a great opportunity over the years, over the decades. I just feel where the council is right now, what's going on in the DD community. And I'll just say, the need for really focusing on that is where I think I really urge y'all to consider that. And I want to make it clear, I'm not leaving, I leave with a pure heart for the council. I think the council is a great organization. I think y'all and the majority of council members are have the best intentions and understand that the direction to go. As I stated, though, I do feel that some decisions are being made that are based on distrust or assumptions that are not in the best interest of neither the DD community nor the council. And it's decisions that have increased over the past year, not in the number of them, but in the acceptance of them. And I do feel with me leaving, I feel like some of the distraction is using me as a focal point. And I'll just tell you, I apologize for not being able to adequately communicate to y'all at these critical junctures the need to really consider how decisions will impact not only council today, regardless of who is in the seat I currently have, whoever's in the seat that Randall currently has, and who's in the seats that y'all and the rest of the council members have. I've had some good conversations with Randall. We seem to be in agreement. The council is at a precipice. Y'all are literally, in my opinion, dangling over an edge. And it will require leadership in terms of what happens, in terms of the direction of where the council goes. And so I just want to thank y'all. I'll go into, I don't think it's necessary to go all to the details right now, but I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, any details we share would be an executive session first.
Now, I will tell you, in terms of just setting the council up so it can function. I know y'all gonna, we've had conversations, and Randall's been included in those with Cheryl Matney to figure out what's needed. In terms of the budget, I've spoke with Mark Thomas, and they will get some, they indicated they can get LDH budget personnel, and we can basically, use some of their people to help navigate that. We have a budget contractor who can help, and Haley Beelan, who's a contract person. I think she understands the budget best, and I will help her transition that so it can move smoothly through that transition.
Thank you. And thank you for that work this week in helping me figure out how we move forward in your absence. I appreciate your help. As Sean said, we did have a long conversation with Cheryl Matney with regard to what is expected of us, regardless of the vacancy in the ED and now the interim position. We still have to carry out the expected duties that the Administration for Community Living has of councils. So even though we're in a very unusual and difficult time for all of us, we still have the duty to carry out the initiatives and the work expected of us and contracted by us with and through our federal partners. And so that's, as your chair, that has to be my critical focus in the next few weeks, especially, but throughout the rest of, I'd say, this year. It's essential that I focus my energy as your chair, working with them to make sure that all of those priorities are met and that our funding is not and does not become at risk. Because as much issues as we may have as a community, my job as your chair, the job that fate and you gave me as a council, is to make sure that we exist. That's fundamentally my role, and to make sure that in that existence, we're all heard and feel part of the decisions, of course. But my primary function now has to be, are all the things necessary for us to function and survive into the future, are those things being done, or those requirements being met? That's what Cheryl Matney impressed upon me very hard, is that I'm still expected to make sure that all of those things that Sean does on a regular basis with them, that the staff does, it's still on me as your chair, because obviously we can't convene an executive committee every time we need to make a decision. It's on me as your chair to make sure that those things that have to be done for our existence and survival happen. So that has to be first and foremost on my mind, basically for the rest of this term for me. And I'll be honest, I mean, it's very important. Sean spoke to leadership. we've never been here before as a council, and it is a very unusual position we are now in. We don't, I mean, am a volunteer first and foremost. I have a full-time job. I have a family that desperately needs my attention too, for reasons I've made public. So, and that's not going to change for the coming probably year or so. There's going to be more demands on my time from my family. And I have, for the last almost 5 years, given you more time than I have my family, frankly, especially in this last year. And that's my decision. That's something I did of my own volition, but that's something I'm not going to be able to so easily just do now. And that's because I have a lot going on in my family life that is vital for my attention. So you matter to me. You always will matter to me. I consider you all family too. And I have, and I'll still continue to do the job that you placed your trust in me to do. But what is essential now is that I have to have the confidence of this body, of the executive committee, and preferably of our community and those here. I need your trust. I need your commitment to work together, because we cannot, and frankly, we will not survive if we don't come together. And that's a fact. I mean, I know there are divisions out there. I'm not naive. I'm not going to go into enormous detail. We're all aware of it. I'm simply saying that as your leader, I'm asking for your help. I'm asking for everyone to be an adult. I'm asking for everyone to please come together for the good of not just your children, not just ourselves as self-advocates, for the entire community that we serve, and frankly are not serving as well as we could, because we are in the throes of, trying to figure out how we move forward all the time. So I need you to come together. And this is the last time that I will make a public appeal to that effect. And you can do with it whatever you will. I have love for all of you. And whether you like that or not, that's the truth. Whether you believe that or not, that's the truth. I'm a volunteer. We all are. But, I can only do what I can do. And I'm doing everything that I can to hold us together, to keep us together, and to move us forward with a vision. Now, we're going to work on that. We're going to continue to do all the things we need to do, but there will be things in the future, and particularly this year, that should be done that probably won't get done. Let's say that at the outset, because there is a lot on our plate, both as a committee and mine as your chair. So I'm putting it out there as plain as I can. I need your help. For everybody listening, I'm going to need your help and your commitment to work together. And honestly, if I lose that, mine is the next resignation you will receive. That's just the reality of life right now. We're in a pandemic. Things are not going to improve, tomorrow. It's a hard road. We have a ton of decisions to make that are all decisions I wish no volunteer had to make. But here's where we are. So if I in any way in my decisions the last 4 months have lost your confidence, first of all, I apologize, because I try to govern in a way that everyone feels included. And I've done that to my detriment and to the detriment of the body that I serve. And I take responsibility for that in some ways. But, if my resignation is what you need to move forward, you'll have it at any point in time. If I lose the trust of this body, if I lose the trust of our leaders in our community, then the best thing I could do to serve you is to go. So it's really up to y'all whether you trust me to lead you through these uncertain times or not. I'm prepared to do so, but it's strictly a committee and ultimately a community decision. Does anybody have anything to say?
Hey, Randall, this is Mary.
Yes, Mary.
I just wanted to say that I like that well, I know for certain you have my full support. I am sad that we've reached this point, and that the work that we have to do is going to take all of us to do it. I completely agree with what you said, and I think serving on the executive committee is an honor and a privilege to do, but it takes a lot of energy to try and, like you said, try to make everybody happy. And that's, I think I agree with you. My part in that has been as well, is just like, oh, I think it's just going to work itself out. And certainly that has not been what has happened. And so my job has, I'm emergency preparedness coordinator for my hospital and for the Region 6. And so during this pandemic, my time and energy has certainly been that. But I will definitely, recommit with you to move forward if that's what everybody is, going to do today. But I agree with you that we can't, the bickering and the problems that we've have got to be discussed in a civilized manner without making people feel bad and be accused of things that, on one side of it you agree on the other you don't. That's not how we should be. Everybody's perspective is different on things. And so it is, it's disheartening to see us go through another cycle of this again.
Thank you. And I appreciate your support, Mary. Thank you very much. And your service. Anybody else?
I agree completely with what you've been saying, and I'll stand beside you, behind you, and in front of you. Over the past few months, we have wasted a whole lot of time dealing with issues of distrust, I would say, that has nothing to do with council business. And we spend an inordinate amount of time dealing with that rather than business. And I'm with you. If we're not going to do council business, then we don't need to be here. And if anybody would like me to step aside, all you have to do is ask during a meeting. And I'm with you, Randall.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else have anything to say?
I sit with you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir.
I
It means a
support
lot to
you
me that y'all
100%.
do. It really does. And it means a lot to me that what the community thinks and believes. And I do hear you. And there, I spend a lot of sleepless nights, especially the last 4 months. I didn't get this job in the normal way, as the whole world knows. And I'm not here to hurt anyone. My job, my focus has always been to serve this community and try to serve it well. And to the extent that I have failed any of you, I apologize. And that includes to the staff. To the extent that I have failed anyone listening to this or anyone who will listen to this, I take full responsibility. I'm your chair. Where we have failed, that's my failure. And it can be ours together. We're a group. But at the end of the day, I speak for you. I have to speak for you for this to work. And so it's on me, the failures we have and the things we have to clean up now are on me. And that weight and that seriousness has never been lost on me, but it is certainly clear and evident to me now. And again, I call for unity. It's not going to be easy. I understand there's a lot of division. I understand there's a lot of hurt. And all I can tell you is I'm committed to try and do everything we can to heal it and move us forward. And if that's not something that y'all decide y'all want to do, or I'm not the man to do it at any point in time, tell me that you don't have my confidence and I'll get out of the way so that someone who you do have confidence in can do the work, because I love you that much.
Mr. Chair, I want to take the time to just acknowledge your servant leadership. And I think that's key when we start talking about true leaders. And what you have provided to us in the past 4 months as chair, giving what the full council has experienced and so much grief. The council has not even had an opportunity to grieve.
No,
Not just for the loss of April, but there are people that are sitting on the council that are grieving loss of family members, loss of jobs, loss of just their typical way of life. And what you have been able to do for us as a chairman during this time of crisis and grief, I want to take the time to say to you, thank you. Thank you for your service leadership. And I completely support your decision-making, your capacity, your intellect, your direction. You have full commitment from me as your vice chair. And I certainly believe that the entire council would echo that sentiment. I didn't expect you to give such a heartfelt speech this morning, but I want you to know that it is well received and we stand with you. Thank you so much for what you have brought to us, what you continue to bring to us, and we look forward to a better us in the upcoming days and for the remainder of our term together. Executive Committee, thank you for the privilege and the honor to serve with you, with our chair. Thank you. Thank you for your full commitment. And although there are times that the Executive Committee may not always agree, but I know when I look around at this Executive Committee, I see hearts. That's why I continue to serve. I see your heart. And what I am saying to you is that I am grateful and honored to sit next to each and every one of you on the Executive Committee, as well as the full council. And I'm grateful to serve the people in our community. Again, thank you, Randall. Thank you, committee. And that's all I, have to say at this point.
thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that heartfelt support. I really do.
Randall, you just lost a quorum, so the other committee members will show their videos.
Okay. I think we have a quorum back, do we not?
We have a few public comments whenever you would like those, Randall.
Hannah, could you please read those?
Yes, from Ms. Karanda, she said, "Great morning, everyone. Mr. Fleming has been and is an intricate part of our DD Council. He was represented this body just as his predecessor with knowledge, grace, and finesse. We pray Mr. Fleming strongly reconsider departing from his position." She also said, "Mr. Chairman and Dr. Miss Vice Chair Lady and Executive Committee, I'm so grateful for your statement. We stand with you and Mr. Fleming on representing our community as a united front." Crystal White said, "I would also like to pledge my committee to work together as a council member. You all have my support, commitment. Thank you all for your service and all you do to lead us." And Ms. Karanda also said, "All of you have my full undivided attention and commitment to aid this council. Thank you kindly for these true statements."
All right, thank you all. Now, we have a quorum, do we not, Sean?
Yes.
Okay. So at this time, I would like to ask for an executive session so we can discuss some personnel matters. So I need a motion for that to happen. Is anybody willing to make that motion?
I would like to make a motion to move into executive session.
Thank you. Hyacinth made the motion for executive session. Do I have a second for Hyacinth's motion to go to executive session?
Second the motion.
Okay, I have a second. Thank you, Mike. So do I have any abstention to the motion to go into executive session? Do I have any objections to the motion to go into executive session? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Thank you. So we will now all move into executive session to